Welcome. This is Happy Childless Mindset Podcast.
Welcome to another episode. I'm here with Dr. Uma Patil. Welcome, Uma, to my podcast, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Laura. And it's really a pleasure to be here on your podcast and also a pleasure to get to know you. Thank you.
Likewise. So, Uma, tell me a little bit, tell us a little bit about what you do, about your childlessness being your purpose. Yeah.
Well, what I do, I'm a holistic coach and a childhood trauma healing expert. And thank you for posing this question because I got to know or even realized that my childlessness actually had a purpose, right? And I realized only very recently that, oh yeah, this is my purpose, and I will talk about it a little later once I explain how I actually came onto this path. I'm actually a dentist by profession, and I was trying to conceive. And at 42, they told me that I'm going to have an early menopause, and I had no chances of conception. And I started to even plan for my pregnancy very late. And by then, I guess it was too late. And I ended up with endometriosis, and I had already struggled with PCOD. So I remember even before I got married, when I was not being an Indian and not having had a boyfriend whom I wanted to marry. So I was looking for an arranged partner, right?
Yeah.
And when I was finding it difficult to find a partner, I told my dad that I actually want to go to UK and study and pursue my career on my own so that I'm away from India and I can actually adopt a child. I don't have to get married to have a child, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how badly I desired to have a child. And but I couldn't do that. And it's when I realized that I was not able to conceive, that's when I posed this question. Now, you sent me in a female body in a culture and religion where women are honored when they have children.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. I'm sure this is in every culture, right? Like they look down upon women who can't conceive, as if, we have done something wrong. And having sent me to this country, given me a body where you allowed me to take birth in India as a woman, and here I am, and I can't conceive, and I can't have children. So then, what is my purpose as a woman, and
Yeah.
why am I here? So to be very honest, I really didn't have that kind of a depth to my personality at that point in time. When I say that, I was not on a spiritual path. I was not really seeking something deeper. I didn't even know what I really wanted to do in life. Right? I was just trying to fit myself in all the boxes the society had created.
Yeah, I
And when,
completely relate to
isn't
that.
it?
I'm not in India, but I'm in South America, so I
Mm,
get that, and I started pursuing my purpose because I didn't know where I fit, so I didn't
absolutely.
belong anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I hear that.
Yeah,
And so that's when I can say magically the universe sent me to UK. That's because my husband got a project in UK. Of course, I had started a part of my healing journey by then, working with a lady who was offering some counseling sessions, and she was a Harvard return person. And she told me about beliefs, and she asked me to set intentions. And so one of the intentions that I had set was that we wanted to find a place for my husband for his job, which was very close by to home. And lo and behold, we were sent to UK. And in UK, literally the distance of his travel was not more than 15 minutes to his office, right? But yes, I could not pursue my dentistry. Being a dentist by profession and being in the academics, they said that I had to redo their exams
Yeah.
and pursue dentistry by going into practicing and then go ahead and work in my field. It didn't make sense to me, and I decided not to pursue dentistry. And that's when I quit and I said, I'm going to take a sabbatical, take a break, and really see what my soul wants to do and what I really want to do. But right now, I don't want to pursue my work at all.
Did
And
you study to be a dentist because you felt like you like it, or because you felt pressure and it was something that you
yeah,
needed to study? Because I know that's my case. I
absolutely.
started a career and it was just pure pressure. And then I
Same
had
here.
to quit because I started having panic attacks in the middle of the classroom. So my body and my soul told me, not that's not the way. But
Yeah.
I I could be a lawyer by now if I if
Oh,
my
wow.
I
If you had
didn't stop my
pursued,
yeah.
I hear that. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, for me, it was not a career of choice at all, like you're asking. Uh, I wanted to be a doctor, a medical doctor, and I did not get a seat. And so I joined the dental field because there's a prefix of doctor even to the dentist, right? And so I realized that dentistry was not at all something I really enjoyed. I didn't want to do a part of the body rather than like studying the whole body, right?
Yeah.
And so like I already had issues about like, maybe self-worth, thinking that I'm less than, because ultimately dentists are treated less than doctors,
Yeah.
despite the fact that yes, we are specialized in one field, you're focusing on an area of work and you're doing your work committedly. Added to that, like it was not at all a subject of my interest. And so every time I used to experience stuckness,
Yeah.
right? So it was like once I finished my graduation, to even to get a postgraduate seat, I experienced such a huge stuckness. And then
Mm.
once I got my postgraduate degree, I really did not get, because I was in the academic field, I had to work in universities or colleges. And so even in the college, I drew a very low salary. Like I got into a college which was paying like really very low salary. And from there on, again, like the stuckness had become a part of my life. So that's where the universe was saying that, this is not aligned to what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, and also
But
think it is linked with our self-worth.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely. It is.
we allow things like being paid less than we deserve because we think
Yeah,
we are not worthy.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So even if the universities were paying less, I could have taken an additional job. I could have worked at a dentist. I could have started
Yeah.
my own clinic. But I had no zeal to do that because this was not something that I was really passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I did have a lot of health issues, which prevented me from really being like doing the hard work. I always, I never really believed in doing the hard work. I just would allow things to flow even from before. Like that was my nature, very
Yeah.
feminine, not the chasing personality. So I was
Yeah.
just happy with what I got. And so when I took a sabbatical in UK, my husband would go for work. There are no children at home, and a new country, hardly have any friends or family. And I went into depression and loneliness and started having panic attacks.
Mm.
And that's when, like, I was recommended to do a cognitive behavioral therapy course and a program. I did that, but also I enrolled myself to do yoga teacher training. I became a yoga instructor or a yoga trainer. And I got back from India. I did do that from India, and I got back and started teaching yoga in UK. And from there on, like, my issues that I had from childhood that were basically deeply rooted because of childhood trauma started showing up.
Yeah.
Like imposter syndrome, like we were just having a chat, right? You spoke about imposter syndrome. So for me, I used to question myself, like, who do you think you are to stand in front of the mat and teach people just after a 200-hour yoga teacher training? You took 8 years to do your master's, and people were not paying you any peanuts. And here you are thinking that, you are already a yoga teacher to teach somebody with just 200 hours of training. And also, I used to self-sabotage a lot and not real. Despite having big goals and dreams, I never could really take action. There was something that was stopping me from taking action. Could be fear of failure or even fear of success, for all you know.
Yeah.
And that was like coming in the way. I used to go for networking events, and one lady recommended that I see a Reiki healer. And I connected with the Reiki healer, and from there on, my healing journey began. And that increased my self awareness to such a large extent that I started realizing my own beliefs, my patterns of thinking, and how I was like pulling myself down, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like it was time for us to move back to India. And when we moved to India, so I still haven't figured out what my purpose is, but what's coming along, I'm just flowing with it. Just that I had the courage to pivot from one aspect of my work to another aspect because I had some deep trust that I've just been guided and I'm being like, walked along this path.
And
So when I'm,
for me, for
sorry,
example,
yeah,
it's not just the goal that I have, like I want to go there, but I also really aware of the doors that are opening and
yeah,
new
absolutely.
things. So I get excited and curious about what else can I learn? What else can I heal? What is this a lot of paths taking me? Where are they taking me? And that's, I don't know, that's kind of part of what makes my life fulfilled. I don't need
Yeah,
a kid
I hear you.
to be curious and to keep exploring life.
Yeah, I was just about saying that so much of curiosity, right? And I
Yeah,
guess when we get curious is when we learn, when we explore, and also have a deeper understanding of who we are. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, I wouldn't say that just yoga would have not healed me, but then I don't know how many years I would have taken on that path.
yeah,
And then came along Reiki, and I just accepted it with my whole heart. And as I was like in the Reiki journey, I moved back to India and then I was teaching yoga. And I just kind of put a word that also I'm a healer and I can help people heal some issues. And like the universe just started directing clients to me.
yeah.
Like, someone said, okay, someone has been trying a lot of things and you are saying you can heal. Why don't you like, work with them? And that's how I started being open to have two paths parallelly at the same time. I was teaching
Yeah.
yoga, but I was healing.
I hope you're enjoying this episode. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe, follow. Okay, back to the episode.
But at that time, COVID hit, and then we had to all be at home.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
I was somehow not very comfortable doing online teaching because I was very particular that I make adjustments for my clients or my students and see that they are in the right form. And
Mm.
so I was not really comfortable with the online teaching. And I completely pivoted to being a healer and a coach. And just along that journey around that time, I had still contacts with my friends that I had formed in the UK, and I was welcomed or called on to a women's circle. And in the
Mm.
women's circle, one of the ladies shared with me that some person was doing a manifestation challenge and would I be interested in joining? I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
because yes, I have big goals and I want to manifest my goals. So I will do the manifestation goal. And then I realized that uh, on this manifestation challenge, I won a raffle for his hypnotherapy program, a part of his hypnotherapy program. And it was like a blessing from the universe because my Reiki master had told me that I had childhood trauma, but I said I really can't relate to any of this because I don't have many memories of my childhood right now. And in my awareness, I really had a beautiful childhood. My parents dote on me, and I don't think that there was a childhood trauma, right?
You know,
But then, like when
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I
not at
notice
all.
kind of a pattern with the I have a lot of childhood trauma, and we usually don't remember a lot. We
Yeah,
block that part, and
absolutely. It's the
yeah,
subconscious trying to protect you because you're
yeah,
so tiny at that time that having that awareness will probably not allow you to even survive, right?
yeah,
So the subconscious
absolutely.
is smart enough to just block it.
Yeah,
And that is when I was in my mentor's container, that I realized that I had severe childhood trauma.
yeah,
When I talk about the severity, it's not that you cannot categorize severity based on what really happened,
yeah,
but how you actually took it, right?
yeah,
Something very, very menial can also be severe for someone who is highly sensitive, and something that's highly severe, and if the child is like quite strong, even as a child, and they may not really take it up so serious. Of course, everybody is going to have an impact, but how
yeah,
it impacts an individual differs from person to person.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. And so from there, like I went on to do his entire program and then started adapting that when I'm healing clients as well. And then, like, the universe was like, okay, fine. Now that you're ready for this, I'm going to give you clients who are who have experienced childhood trauma, and you can actually understand them and you can start healing. And I went into learning. I'm like you were saying, like you're curious, I'm curious too. And then someone offered a quantum regression integrated therapy curate sessions and curate certification. I'm like, okay, it's COVID and there is a lot of time on hand, and I'm curious to know more things, and I want to do this. And I did that. And during the visioning, I get that I'm standing on a stadium and I'm speaking to hundreds of women. I'm wearing this gown, silky gown, and I'm like being celebrated, and people are like literally applauding me after my talk, and they're like really resonate. I'm like, where did this happen? I have no idea, or I have not even had a goal that I want to be a speaker on stage. And
yeah,
this is what my vision is showing. But doing what I was doing and being where I was, that could never have been possible. And I just forgot about it and just carried on with doing whatever I was doing. And I moved to a different town from here. And when I moved to a different town, uh, I actually raised my prices because I was like, okay, this is not really sufficing. And like, I am providing a lot of value, but I'm really giving it away at a very low cost. So,
yeah,
and also I've had 3 years of experience in this field now, and I think I can increase my charges. And when I increased my charges after one or two clients, I went into a complete block again. Like no clients being directed to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing the social media properly. Oh, I'm not marketing myself properly. I'm not showing up so well. I'm not doing lives. And I did all possible things. I gave myself a title, a bio, and like, everything, but like nothing was happening.
yeah,
I'm like, why is this? What's going wrong? And that's when I connected with my coach, and he said, like, probably you have no clarity of who's your ideal client. You're not having clarity on your niche, and I can help you with all these things. And I started working with him. That's when I actually went into a more deeper dive of healing, and overcoming all the impacts of the childhood trauma had on me, especially when it came to my self-worth and showing up in the world as whatever I was claiming to be.
Yeah.
Whether it was I mean, I've changed my niches so often, but then I was calling myself an empowerment coach. And I personally didn't feel empowered. And so I had to like really do a lot of work, inner work. And of course, I birthed my program. But when I birthed my program and I joined various Facebook groups and I joined, started focusing more on the coaching bit, that's when I started really connecting with podcasters, speakers, TEDx speakers. And I was like, wow, now I see where the vision came from. And
Yeah.
the universe was actually directing me there.
Yeah, I've wanted to do a podcast for 2 years before I started. And what we were talking before I hit record about me feeling like sometimes an imposter because I'm not a podcaster with millions of followers.
Yeah.
And this week I I received an invitation for a Zoom that I wasn't really sure what I was joining, but I joined anyway because I'm curious. And I ended up getting help for applying to a TED Talk. And
Wow.
by chance, I got a hot seat to pitch my idea about
Awesome.
childlessness and how to heal it. And it was awesome. But I think so many times people forget about the curiosity. You don't have to grab everything, but you have to grab what feels like, oh, maybe I can do this. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Not like you have to forget I'm here, I can do this.
Yeah.
What if I make them ridicule, or what if I don't know, I
Yeah. Yeah.
just I just roll with things and I have a great time and I laugh up to about myself a lot, because I
That's amazing.
yeah, stop taking myself so seriously has opened
Seriously, absolutely.
it opens so many conversations and doors. And of course I mess up, I make mistakes a lot,
Make mistakes. Yes.
but it's
We're
kind of
human.
it's human, and I take accountability of that, and then I move on laughing,
Yeah.
not just, oh my God, how could I do that, because
Yeah.
I used to be like that.
Self-compassion, being compassionate towards ourselves. So true.
Yeah, but I used to
Yeah.
be so hard on myself. The
Mm,
perfectionism and
mm,
my childhood trauma made me
mm.
be really structured, and I had to be a certain way and talk talk and never stutter. And now I'm doing a podcast in a language that is not my own, and I stutter. It's
That's
okay.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's something to celebrate about yourself,
yeah,
honestly.
I'm proud of that. But I needed to do the work, and I think the first steps are the harder, because
Yes,
then you get the
absolutely.
gist of it
Hardest.
and you move more. I don't know if fast
Forward.
is the word, but yeah, it's easier to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that your
Absolutely.
experience too?
Yeah. 100%. Like, I guess, yeah, I have been very curious and I've also been very open to try new things
Yeah,
and at the suggestion of new ideas. Yes, I'm very courageous, is what people say. Probably I am, because it's like I just could drop a career at the drop of a hat and then move on to something new. And also like pivot every time something changed and was not
yeah,
working. But it's not that I did not have fears or anxieties, but yes, I had to work past them to get where I am.
yeah,
And that has taught me a lot about my own self, the resilience I have, and also like looking at life like a small kid at all times, right?
Yeah.
Not, like you said, not taking anything too seriously, right? And like being that kid again to just see what can I do here and how can this be different?
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. I never thought about my life as a toddler, but yeah, I like that. Like laugh and celebrate the small wins. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And like children are the ones who are so curious and then like they don't really fear, right? Like they're not very scared because they don't know. They're not too like wired to with all those fears yet.
yeah, I do get anxious, like before starting every episode I get anxious because I think I'm gonna mess up and then I do it anyway because yeah.
Yeah,
And a toddler perhaps doesn't have that. And
yeah,
perhaps they know they might get like the mom will tell them, no, don't do that, but yeah, let's try. And I
yeah.
love that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So
Mm.
you heal a great deal of your childlessness through all this path that you're
Yes.
been on.
And absolutely. And then when I went on the journey of healing my inner child, oops, hello. It's 10 p.m. here, and like I have my sleep mode activated on the phone, and it just got even before I could cancel it. It like,
Yeah, that happens to me, so don't worry.
thank you. So where were we? Yeah, I was saying that as I was in the process of healing my childhood trauma, that is when I realized that I'm glad I didn't have children. Because imagine without being healed and without really reparenting my inner child, probably I would not have been able to be a good mom for my own children.
Yeah.
And I needed to be there for my inner children who were literally calling out to be parented.
Yeah, I so relate to that because I think I would love to think that I would be a great mom, but in the other hand, I had so much childhood trauma. I have complex PTSD, and I a lot of times ask myself, would I be a good mom with all that triggers that not triggers in the childless world, in my anxiety and my PTSD,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
poor kid to have to live through a mom that curls up in the sofa having a panic attack. 'Cause
yeah.
yeah, so in a sense, I don't know if I'm glad is the word, but I know I did my not kid a favor.
Mm. Same here, same
Yeah.
here.
And
The
I
not born children, we have actually given them that release.
yeah, yeah, and don't like pressure them to take care of me now and in my
Yeah,
old age and not having to be kind of how do you say it stuck with a mom that can't do it on their own because
own.
I
Yeah,
yeah I know I wouldn't healed the ton of things I healed because I don't have kids.
yeah. I hear you totally. And I can 100% resonate with that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's I think it's an opportunity to be childless,
Absolutely.
not by choice or by circumstance, whatever you want to call it. It's a
Yeah,
it's an opportunity if you allow it, because
absolutely.
there's a lot of people that is stuck in the not allowing themselves to see past the childlessness, the
That's true.
yeah,
I agree, and I can understand. Like, I guess we also have been through those phases for a bit, but it's just that we allowed that to open up different pathways for that.
yeah,
And I guess that's what you are here to show people and share with people. I mean, I understand that's your purpose and that's what
yeah,
you're serving for, right? Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
hear that completely.
And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying I don't get
Yes,
waves of grief, because I think it's never
yes,
over. But
yes,
I
absolutely.
but it's key to allow ourselves to see other opportunities and to approach those with curiosity and compassion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do have like pangs of like not really huge anxiety, but the thought does cross my mind like, what if I'm just left alone in the end when I'm old?
yeah,
Or how about like, it would be really nice to have some children come and visit you when you're older, because that's what we do with our parents. But
yeah,
then I know that like ultimately, whatever you call it as God consciousness, the universe or the higher power
yeah.
will be there to take care of you like it has all the time ever since you're born.
Yeah, and I feel more taken care now that I'm healing. I
Yeah.
have more friends that are becoming family than I
Yeah,
had in my whole life. And I think maybe
absolutely.
I would be one of those people that have kids, that have 7 kids, and none of them are in speaking terms with me. Because
Yeah, I know why you're saying that. Yes, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
take for granted that people that have kids are going to take care of when they're older, and that's not
yeah.
always the case.
That's not true. Yeah, that's not always the case. Very true, very true.
And
I
it's not
agree.
and it's not like a childless person has anyone to take care of them when they are old. Because
Yeah,
maybe it's your
yeah,
neighbor. You never
yeah.
know.
You never know. Yeah, that's what I said. So the divine, it's just trust the divine and surrender to the divine, and the divine will do the due diligence.
Yeah, I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and I completely agree with what you say. And I think
Yeah, I'm
the
not religious either.
yeah, I I didn't know because I don't know all Indian religions. I know you have so many gods that I get lost in.
So true.
But yeah, I think, but even if you're not spiritual, I think if you pour kindness into the world, that kindness is going to have a ripple effect and
Come
get back
back to
to
you.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
and healing my childhood trauma and a lot of scars, inside scars that I have allowed me to be kind, because I was a really aggressive person. So I was so scared that I acted like a cage animal.
I can totally understand that. Like I was quite aggressive as well. Because it was that pent up anger and frustration that was being shown out.
Yeah.
But and we were in an unaware state. We were not aware we were behaving that way.
Yeah,
Nevertheless,
and sometimes in my case I was kind of poked, so I was aggressive because it was a defense mechanism. Don't poke me anymore,
absolutely.
I'm going to bite you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I understand that. Correct.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
since I like left like heal that and let my guard down. I'm allowed myself to be kind and to be gentle, and to, even when someone pokes me, I try to understand where they are coming from with that aggression. Because
Becoming more compassionate. Yes.
because maybe they are afraid too, and I can ease them
Mm,
into, I'm not gonna hurt you.
mm, mm. Sure.
But I think a lot of my childlessness has to do with that compassion
Mm,
towards others and
mm.
towards myself too. So for
Yeah.
finishing this episode, is there something else you want to tell us?
Well, what I would like to share is like, as we have spoken on this topic of childlessness, and uh, I understand that it can be hard in the beginning,
Yeah,
and it's important to be really, really kind and compassionate to yourself, and
yeah,
not beat yourself up, because not having had a child is not your fault. But at the same time, if you look at it as an opportunity to truly find yourself and see how you can contribute to a larger part of the world than to just one child or two children. And I'm not saying that there are no people who have children and who are not contributing, but at the same time, most often what happens when we have children is our focus gets completely limited to our children,
yeah,
right? But using this opportunity for a larger service, or to find your purpose and to find more meaning in your life, rather than going into a self sabotage and thinking that it's your fault and staying stuck, or cursing yourself. There are so many people who curse themselves for not having children.
yeah.
But I just want to remind you that it's never, ever your fault. And how about looking at you're the chosen one to be on this path? So I would like to end by saying that.
Love that message. And I completely agree. Yeah, I love that message. Where do people can find you?
Oh, well, I am on Facebook as Uma Patil,
Yeah,
and you can find me there. Well, that's the major platform I operate on, and also yeah, I think Messenger and on Facebook.
I will leave your
Drop the
Facebook
link.
link, yeah, in the description. Uma,
Sure.
it was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure talking to you. I really enjoy your perspective and your contribution to my podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a privilege to speak to you and to also get to know you. And I wish you all the very best on your podcast. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you.